All right, I'm Val Dewar for Cage Side Press here with Bellator bantamweight champion Sergio Pettis, who is defending his belt against featherweight champ Patricio Pitbull at Bellator 297 on Friday, June 16th in Chicago. So, Sergio, how are you, man? Good camp and everything?
Yeah, man, camp's going really good. It's been a long time off, so glad to get back to work. June 16th, it's going to be a great night fighting Patricio Pitbull. Very excited, man. Very excited for this opportunity.
So, you probably get asked about this a lot, but I mean, guess that's part of having a brother who's like also a star. Your brother's a big name, has one of those legendary highlights that's like goes down in MMA history, but now you have one of those as well with your knockout of Kyoji. So, how does it feel to like match and potentially even exceed what he did with your time in the sport?
Man, it feels good. I come to the sport not really trying to compare myself or compete against my brother Anthony, because obviously that's a huge resume to compete against as well. But it feels good to step outside of that. That that point fighter. I'm a point fighter. I'm very smart out there. I try to not get any damage done to me. So to go out there and get a finish like that and to sleep a man, that was crazy, man. It was a whole different experience. It almost felt like a dream come true. It was a wild moment.
Ever since then, do you feel like fans' perception of you or just people in general perception of you has changed because of that?
I don't think so. I think people still overlook me. I feel a lot of people just haven't caught on to my wave yet, and it's just a matter of time. I feel like I got to keep on getting some more wins and getting these knockouts where people are seeing that Sergio Pettis is something to watch out for.
All right. So speaking of Kyoji, who do you think is a harder opponent? Because I mean, there's some concerns about Pitbull cutting down in weight. Who do you think's harder, Kyoji or Pitbull, for your Bellator fights?
Um, I feel like every fight presents a new opportunity and a new challenge. So it was definitely a different fight in Kyoji. He was very fast and he was smart, man. Very high IQ fighter, which I'm expecting the same thing out of Pitbull. He's fast, he's smart, explosive. We'll see how he does with the weight cut. Extra 10 pounds could do a lot. I used to fight at 125, and the way I felt at 125 to 135 is night and day. So we'll see how he does with that. I know he's a competitor and he's going to prep himself and put himself in the best case scenario. So we'll see, man. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, speaking of that 10 extra pounds, Bellator's talking about, or I guess the report is that Bellator's making a flyweight division officially now. I mean, Pitbull's cutting down in weight. Would you ever consider cutting down in weight to challenge for that belt for a double champ slot? Or are you done
Yeah.
with that? You think that, the weight is too much, the weight's good where you are now?
I'm very dedicated and I'm committed to a diet as well. So I feel like I definitely could make 25 again if the opportunity presented itself. But as of right now, how I feel at 35, man, I'm happy. I get to eat what get to enjoy a life. Actually, at 25, it's a whole different game. I got to be extremely strict. There's no room for error, no room for cheat days. I like getting my cheat days in every now and then. So we'll see how it goes, man. See how this fight plays out, and if there's a chance to be a double champ, I would love to definitely take that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I don't know if you think about this sort of thing, but this is a pretty big fight. Who do you think is the A side in this fight? Like, you both have kind of, big family names. You both have belts, of course. You're coming off a crazy knockout while Patricio has built, a longer career as one of the best featherweights of all time. Who do you think, the fans are mainly coming to watch if you think one of you is more?
I think making it a Midwest fight, I think a lot of my fans are going to be out there. It's a lot of my family, friends. So I feel like it's like USA, baby. He's from Brazil. I'm gonna go out there and represent America, represent the Midwest scene in general. There's a big MMA scene out here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Chicago, Detroit, Michigan. So I'm excited to really represent us.
Definitely, definitely. So you're excited to be fighting in Chicago for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Last time I fought in Chicago was like 2017, and
Damn.
yeah, it was a good fight. I had a great success that night. I fought Joseph Benavidez, put the paws on him, and came out victorious. So
Yeah. Another
yeah,
legend.
I'm expecting the same thing, but we'll see. Like you said, another legend, another legend in the sport, and Patricio definitely is a big fish out there, man. I'm a fisherman trying to catch these big fish.
Nice metaphor. All right, so I know you're probably not focused on it as much because you're focused on Patricio, but I assume you watched the Grand Prix, the Bantamweight Grand Prix, which you had to, of course, pull out from injury, unfortunately. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? And especially Patchy Mix. I mean, he's not known for his knockouts, but he just came and knocked out Rafion Stotts. Did that surprise you?
Oh, definitely surprised. I was watching that fight, and when it happened, I was like almost like a mouth open moment where I'm just like, oh man, like Patsy's been on a tear, man. He's been looking amazing. His grappling's been high level as always. That's what he's known for. But he's putting it together. You know, he's at that age. We're very similar in age. I think he's like 2 days older than me. So we're both at that age where we're hungry and we both know that what we want. And you can see it in his performances that he's a high level competitor and he's coming out there to try to finish guys, hurt guys, and make his name get bigger and bigger each time. And he's not a millionaire, so he's a millionaire on top of all that, you know. So big year for Patchy Mix last year.
Definitely, definitely. Um, So I wanted to ask, what's one dream fight for you, like in the rest of your career, if you have any? I mean, you're 20, like you said, you and Patchy both kind of in your primes. 29 is kind of a prime age for MMA fighters, but you still have a bit of ways to go in front of you. So what's like one dream fight, or even just any goals you want to accomplish for the rest of your career in general?
Yeah, I mean, a dream fight for me is honestly to get back that fight against Henry Cejudo. I fought Henry Cejudo when I was 24 years old, and the mentality and the work ethic I had back then, it was just not who I am nowadays, 5 years later. So I feel, I mean, that'd be a great matchup. I think back, you know, to get that one back is just like an ego thing. I really want that one, and he's a big name as well. So I mean, we'll see, man. I got a lot of time left, and I know he still couldn't be competing for a bit. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, and he's at bantamweight now too, full time. It sounds like.
Yep,
So
for sure. Yeah, he's done with the flyweight guys.
yeah, you think he's the hardest opponent you ever faced? I mean, yeah, like you said, you were a different fighter back then, but do you think he's the most challenging opponent you ever fought, or is it one of these other guys?
You know, I feel like I said, every fight had like a
Yeah.
different challenge. Cejudo definitely was a big challenge at that age where I was, you know, I was going for top contender of the UFC, going for a belt. And yeah, he took my dreams away, man, you know. So um definitely I've had some tough fights, man. I fought some good dudes. Rob Font was another good dude I fought. He beat me up in my hometown, so that was a little humbling and definitely a big eye opener as well. I think a career changing moment, honestly, when I lost to Rob Font. I promised myself that I wouldn't, you know, put myself in situations that I'm not prepped for. And after that, you know, I've been 5-0, and so yeah, I think Rob Font personally was my toughest fight.
Okay. And so like after that, you said when you were younger, you didn't maybe train as hard, take it as seriously as you are now. Is that, and that
Mhm.
changed everything for you?
For sure, for sure. I took two back-to-back losses. I lost to Hussein Formiga, who was, yeah, I think number one or number two at the time, and then went up to bantamweight like a month and a half later and fought Rob Font. And after that, man, I was just like, you know, I gotta, you know, take this. I wasn't like, not that I wasn't taking it serious, but when you're at this high level, there's no room for error. You know, there's no room for any pessimistic thoughts or any like second guessing yourself. And that's who I was back then. I was a big person that second guessed a lot that he did. And now that I'm older, I feel I know my role and my goals, and no more second guessing. You know, just trusting myself and trusting the work.
Do you feel like that second guessing maybe came from coming into the sport with a high profile at such a young age?
For sure, and it's something that actually I lacked. I feel like something I had my whole life, even before a career. You know, I was a very shy kid. You know, had a lot of anxiety, a lot of issues that kind of made me feel a little like different. You know, made me feel like maybe I shouldn't be doing this sport, or maybe I'm not good enough to be in this sport or with these top tier guys. And yeah, after that, you know, I got rid of those thoughts. I really got my head cleared, and I realized, you know, I'm one of the best to do this, and I just gotta put everything together, put my life together, and put my work together.
I guess going off I mean, mental health is a big topic right now. You're talking about anxiety. Do you have any advice for anyone who's going through similar things, even if they're not a fighter? Like what did you do, you know, that other people who aren't also fighters can do?
Yeah, I mean, I just I stopped being, you know, the person I wasn't, you know, trying to portray. And I stopped, you know, going out a lot. I stopped, you know, drinking a lot. I stopped. I guess I really just had to like just tune in on myself, and I started reading a lot of books. Anytime that I had a negative thought, I had the idea to attach two positive thoughts to it. So anytime I had these pessimistic thoughts that are just reoccurring, I could kind of change up my cycle and you know, start thinking better, start living better, and just surrounded myself with people who are amazing. I got a beautiful fiance that helps me out so much, and in the fight game and outside the fight game, she helps me get my head clear too. So just having the correct people around, you know, the people that want to see you do good, and people that are encouraging you to trust in yourself and believe in yourself, and eventually you will get to that point.
Yeah, congrats on the engagement, by the way, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yes, you mentioned books. I'm a huge reader myself. What kind of books do you like to read?
Mostly like self-improvement books, you know, like I like, you know, Think and Grow Rich was a good book for me. The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, that was a really good read. I read that before I fought Juan Archuleta. And no, I just feel like Mind Gym, that was a good book as well. There's a lot of books I could name out there, but yeah, mostly self-improvement books and just things that were different than I was seeing every day. Going through social media, reading negative stuff. Looking at other people on social media, comparing myself to them and my lifestyle to them, and not possibly being where I want to be at the level I want to be at the age I am now. So it was a lot of negative things that I was just kind of inflicting on myself. I kind of got away from all that.
Yeah, yeah. So I was already going to ask about it, but that's one hobby. What other hobbies you like to do outside of training, just to relax a little bit?
Yeah, I'm big on fishing, man. I actually like to fish a lot. So that helped me a lot too, just getting outdoors and just doing stuff by myself, going out there catching some big fish. I actually hate fishing with my fiance because she catches the bigger fish every damn time. So I stopped taking her out with me. But yeah, man, I like to fish. I like to go on hikes and just, go outdoors.
It's awesome. So yeah, what other sports other than MMA that you like to watch? Or a sports team? I mean, you're up there in Milwaukee.
Yeah. You know what? I just started watching basketball again. I was really big into basketball when I was younger. I thought I was going to be a point guard. I realized I'm only like 5'5", so I ain't gonna. I had to switch sports up. I had to go to wrestling. Had to go to boxing. But man, honestly, I'm a big combat sports guy. So if I'm not watching MMA, I'm watching boxing. So, and I'm just watching a lot of Muay Thai. A lot of different fights. I'm really big on that. It's hard to kind of get away from that once you're so in tune with it.
Yeah, a lot of MMA fans don't realize how many great Muay Thai fights you can get just on YouTube for free, man. It's awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
But speaking of basketball,
oh my man, okay,
let's
okay.
go. Yeah. So obviously there's your brother, but is there any other fighter you credit with like inspiring you to get into combat sports, or are you just always on that path?
One fighter that I really loved watching growing up was GSP. That was literally the guy that I wanted to be like. So humble, such a hard worker, and he didn't really wrestle and have all that stuff growing up, and he just kind of grew into the sport and became this amazing champion with hard work. So yeah, GSP was definitely one of the guys I looked up to. I remember crying when he lost to Matt Serra. That's how much I love GSP. That was like a devastating moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you would have been. I mean, I was little. You would have been little too then, huh?
Yeah. I was about like 15, 16 years old, I think, maybe 14. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. All right, we got one last question, then I'll let you go. Who are your favorite fighters? I mean, any sport, not just MMA, to watch compete. Who do you tune into the most?
I think the guys that actually I tune into the most are the guys I try to like steal stuff from. So I would say Lomachenko. I love watching Lomachenko fight. Even Devin Haney, man. Such a young athlete and so smart at what he does. I actually got to meet him too, so it was cool.
It's awesome.
But
hey, wait, who do you think won that fight? By the way.
Yeah, I don't agree with the judges on the scorecards. I think it was a lot closer than what they called it, but honestly, it could have gone either way. Loma started picking it up towards the end, and Haney was just establishing that beginning game, just jabbing him up, keeping his range. But I'd have to go with Loma, man. Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, I have to go with Loma. But another fighter I like to watch, man, McGregor. Honestly, I liked his upcoming, with the karate stance, the style, the counter striker, the confidence in himself. So, yeah, man, definitely a lot of fighters from all different. Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I'll let you go, but before I go, prediction for the fight: how you think you get it done? I mean, assuming you think you get it done, most fighters do.
For sure. I could see this fight going a couple ways. Either we go all 5 rounds and see who the better man is, or one of us catches each other. And, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that I could put on a big performance in front of my family and friends, everybody in the Midwest. So I'd like to finish this, man.
All right. Yeah, well, thank you so much for the time. Good luck. 2 weeks.
Can't wait to see it. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a good one, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.